Hello, everyone. Welcome to Creative Ends platform. How are you doing today? If today is your first time stopping by my channel, you are welcome. Happy to have you here. And to all my old subscribers, I love you. So today's tutorial is going to be on the turban you just seen. The material I'm using is a satin material and it's not a stretchy fabric. So I'll be showing you how you sew it so that it can fix properly into the head. So I'll also be using crinoline, and the crinoline I'll be using is a 6 inches crinoline. The elastic I have in my hands there, I might not use it. It's optional. You can use it, you might not use it, but let me just explain how you cut your material and how you sew it so that it can fix to the head. So right away, for the design at the side of the turban, I will be cutting out 7 inches. So that 7 inches, the length depends on how many bows that I might want to fold. So when I cut out 7 inches, it actually depends on the bows, the numbers of bows that I will want to fold. Is that all right? So concerning the length of the material, like I said, it depends on the numbers of bows you want to make. So the first length I cut out is the full length of the material itself. So let's say the material is by 60, it means I cut out by 60. So when I cut it out, I also cut out another one. So I have two of it, two. So what I'm trying to emphasize is that just know the width. Don't bother about the length. If you are making two bows, you don't need much length. If you are making one bow, you understand me. All right, so right now the next thing I'm cutting out is the base. That is the band for the base. The band for the base that I will be using is what I'm going to cut out now, and I'm using the same 7 inches. That's how wide I want it to be. So after folding it together, I'll be getting about 3.5 inches. Yes. So when I cut it out now, I'm going to split into two, and then because I want to make a cross base, we are going to see the next thing I'll do after cutting it out. For those of you that don't know how to cross base, I'm just going to show you how I cross my own. And like I will always say on this channel, the methods I'm using, they are not the only method you can use. There are other methods, just that these methods are the ones that I use to do my own work. All right, so right now, this is how I cross my base, like this. So you can decide to first of all sew the material, use your interlock machine and lock it, or you can just cross, fix your base on it and sew. Then you can now weave it at the end of everything. So the length I have here is 22, but the normal length you can use is 16. So if you intend managing your material, simply use 16. You don't need to cut 22 by 7. All right, so for me to cut the body of the turban, I want to cover the inside after sewing. So I first of all cut out 15 inches by 26. So that 15 by 26, I will just sew it inside after I finish preparing the turban. It will just help me to knit up the inside of the turban. That's just the essence, to knit it up. You understand me? All right. So after cutting out that, I will now have the remaining parts to create the main turban. So for me to create the main turban, I think the length I have is 38 by 26. No, 28, I mean, by 26. I used that because I intend to pleat. You understand? So I'm just showing you the measurement for the one I want to use to cover the inside that I've already told you about. So for this particular one, this is the one for the main turban. This is the one I want to use for the body of the turban, and I'll be using 28 by 26. All right, I noticed a part of this video is missing where I actually fix this body to the base, so I apologize for that. I'll just show you the fixing already. So right here I have fixed, but I have not done the pleat, so I'll be doing the pleat right away. So after attaching the main turban to the band, I will pleat it. But before I go into that, this is the part I want to use to create the bow, which is the design on the turban. And I'll be fixing my crinoline into it. You understand? I showed you before that the measurement is 3.5 or 3 inches, because when I cut out 7. So after folding and weaving and all of that, I might just be left with like 3 inches. So I fold it and then fix in the crinoline like this. So I have two parts of it. I'll come back and show you how to smoothen it up while you create your bow, because if you do not smoothen it up, it will look rough, and it will not be, though it will not be too presentable. I've seen a lot of work that they do not smooth up, and it's manageable, but I just want your work to be good, so I will show you how to smoothen it up. All right, so let's talk about the pleat. So for me to pleat it, you can see that I'm not really bothering so much about the band I have underneath. I'm just going to do my pleat on it, though the band will still show after sewing it, but just to show you that this is how I create the pleat. Hence I am doing what I'm doing now. So this is how I do create my pleat. I hope you are following. All right, so I just like pick up like 2 inches and rest it on the first line. It's not really getting so smooth because I'm not sewing it, or maybe if I'm even pinning it down, it will get smoother. But when you fold and you sew, it will get very, very smooth. So after pleating to an extent, I will stop. So this is it after I am done sewing it with my sewing machine. So you can see the pleats behind the V. It's just a way of adding extra design to your work. So if you decide you don't want to do that, it's not a problem. All right, so right now I want to cut out the shape for the turban. So for me to do that, I just simply fold the turban into two, and then I will leave a space. That's what I'm trying to explain. I'll leave a space for opening, and the smallest space you can leave for opening from experience is 7 inches. But if you know you don't want to leave up to 7 inches, then the turban must be bigger than the head size, so that at any point it can sit on the head. If you are using the exact head size of 22, or let's say 23, so when you fold you are having like 11 or 10.5, you understand, then you need to open it up to 7 inches to allow it pass through the head. Is that okay? So at that point now, this is the point where, yes, I will leave that part open, and then I'll be sewing it. The part you see me roll now, I'll be sewing that part. So this is it. I am done with that part. I am done with the sewing, and already I have also covered the part I needed to cover. You shouldn't bother about that aspect of covering. You understand? It's just the same process you use to fix it. So please don't bother about that aspect of covering. Maybe if I'm making any other video that has to do with me covering it, I'll show you how I cover. It's a very simple process. So right now I'll just like use my needle and thread, and then give it loose stitches and pull it together, just to give it a little bit of design at the back. Is that okay? Just to design it at the back. So, and apart from that, it will also help to shorten the length of the turban, so your clients don't have to be the one trying to tuck it in from the back. You've already helped your client to fix that aspect. So this is just how the cap will look. The next thing I'll do is that I'll fix an handle to it. For the finishing, I'll be fixing an handle to it, and also I'll be showing you how to fold the the what do I call it now, the bow. So I'll if you watch that part, even without me doing much of explanation, I believe that you can follow up. Is that okay? So I'll be showing you how to fix the bowl and also how to attach the uh the band. That's what you use to tie it, the handle. Yes. So to fix the bowl, now that I have my crilony inside, I want the you can see that it is not smooth. So I fix each bowl step by step, each bowl. So the first thing I do is I'll just use my needle to like pin a part down, so it will look as if maybe I sew it. But if you have the time, you can keep sewing to just close that part before you start pushing. But for me, I just felt it's not necessary sewing, pushing, cutting, sewing again. So you can just do that easily with your needle. Just pin it and then it will be closed at that point, and then it will enable you to push. So what I'm doing now is that I push in the crilony and then I pull out the excess material. When I push in my crilony, I pull out the excess material. So what I do in this case is when I fix the crilony inside the material, I do not cut. I do not cut. I just like fix it inside. So until I'm done with the work I'm doing, I do not cut the crilony. I don't cut out any excess. If you just fix your crilony inside exactly the size of the material, you might not be able to push. Or by the time you push in, you will have excess material. Your crilony will not be enough. So just fix it in and leave it there. As you keep working, you'll be taking the quantity you want. When you are through, then you can cut. Is that okay? So for me now, I have about 22 after pushing, and then I'll be using the 22 to fold. So this is how I'll fold. At this point, the needle that I used is still inside. Yet there's one problem you might encounter. If you push it too tight, the material and the crilony might not be relaxing. So it will like you see it looking squeezed, looking rumpled, and all of that. So when you have such experience, all you need to do is just release a part of remove the needle from one part, and then try to drag out the crilony a bit. It means the crilony you push into the material might just be too much for the space that you are using. So you just try to like pull out the crilony a little. It will now be relaxed for you to form your bow, and your bow will be very beautiful. So you can see the one that I'm already forming here, and you can see how it is looking. It's already smooth. It's already smooth. It's already looking beautiful compared to how it was when I did not push it in. Is that okay? So this is just how I will create the bow. And for this particular project, I will be needing about 4 bows. And the 4 bows I will be creating, they are of different sizes. So this first size is 22. I can create like 15. I can create 18, depending on the distance I want from each other amongst the bow. You understand? All right. So for me to like close and then pull out my needle at the midpoint of the bow, I just like do a loose stitches and then